Hello and welcome to another episode of Time About the Movies Flashback. We're flashing back to September 19th, 1986. Not a very good weekend for movies, but we do have at least one movie that went on to become a masterpiece for many people, others not so much. But we'll get to that one as we move along here. But let's go ahead and get right to it. Let's start off with the first of our three new releases, the biggest of the three in terms of money, but most of you probably don't even remember this movie, The Men's Club.
This is a wonderful club. This is a wonderful club.
It all begins after they kiss their wives goodnight.
And that's when the gay orgy started. Literally, that's literally what I thought of the minute that trailer was over. It's just like, what the fuck is happening here? But this is The Men's Club, kind of one of the last of the big chill let's do the big chill all over again type of thing here, because yeah, this is really what it is at this point here. But in this movie, you have a band of friends going on a drunken all-night spree, spending a night at a high-class San Francisco brothel, which features David Dukes, Richard Jordan, Harvey Keitel, Frank Langella, Roy Scheider, Craig Wasson, Treat Williams, Stockard Channing, Cindy Pickett, Jennifer Jason Leigh. So there is a decent amount of people in here. This is directed by Peter Medak, who gave us The Craze and also Let 'Em Have It. But yeah, needless to say, this is not one of his stronger movies in general here. This is a movie that's kind of pretty lazy when you think about it, because like I said, it's a movie that's trying desperately hard to copy the success of not only The Big Chill, but also The Breakfast Club, even a little bit of St. Elmo's Fire thrown in there too, since that came out the year before. But yeah, there's nothing about the movie that really makes it memorable. It's kind of a generic-ass movie, and there's nothing about it that really makes it stand out on its own merit. It's just kind of a lazy film, and there's nothing really about it that makes it unique or anything about it. I mean, I was really bored when I watched it the first time around, but yeah, nothing about this movie really worked for me overall, so yeah. Really quick on that one. So let's go ahead and move on to probably the most notable movie, not even probably, the most notable movie of the entire weekend, and that is David Lynch's Blue Velvet.
Blue Velvet is a masterpiece, a visionary story of sexual awakening. David Thompson, California Magazine. It will be attacked, argued about, and cherished for years to come. David Anson, Newsweek. Brilliant and unsettling, this is the work of an all-American visionary and a master film stylist, Stephen Schiff, Vanity Fair. Blue Velvet. Rated R.
Well, they were certainly right about one thing. This thing did get a very polarizing response when it first came out. But yeah, you can kind of tell why. But then again, it is David Lynch. So yeah, that's kind of the expected with him. You either love his work or you really do not like it. And definitely, you know, after what he did with Dune a couple years ago, which was a major flaw for him, he basically just said, fuck it, I'm going to do my own thing no matter what, regardless of what anybody says. And luckily, Dino De Laurentiis' production company said, come on in, we'll let you do whatever you want with it. And lo and behold, here's the end result of that. You have a story about a college student who returns to his hometown and discovers a severed human ear in a field, which leads him to uncover a criminal conspiracy involving a troubled nightclub singer. The college student is played by Kyle MacLachlan, and the nightclub singer is Isabella Rossellini. You also see Laura Dern in there, Dennis Hopper, Dean Stockwell, and yeah, it is definitely what you think of when you think of a David Lynch but for crazy movie. I mean, this is where David Lynch really cooks, and David Lynch really does cook in this movie as a whole. And yeah, he basically just said, you know, I'm going to do whatever I want with this movie, and I don't care how you think about it. You're just gonna, you either are going to love it or you're going to hate it. And I love weird stuff like this movie, man. This is a bizarrely put together movie, and it just, from the get-go, it's one of those things where it's just like, it's David Lynch doing what David Lynch does so well, creating these unique visual things that you see kind of out of a nightmare, and combining it with a story that really does not make a whole lot of sense when you really think about it, but because it is what David Lynch does so well with films like this, and Wild at Heart, and also with other stuff like Mulholland Drive, Lost Highway, I mean, Twin Peaks in particular, yeah, this is definitely right up there with some of his more bizarre stuff in general, and yeah, I think after Dune, he really just said, you know, I'm just going to do whatever I want, and so let's see who's going to take me up on it, and it led to a really good film overall, a really bizarre, unique film that has so much different styles to it, and yeah, the casting overall is great, the visual look of the film is impressive, the music by Angelo Badalamenti is really good. it is everything you can ask for and then some with this. And I did not know about this. The editor on this movie is Dwayne Dunham, who you may remember, for you 90s kids out there, was also the director of Little Giants, of all things. So, how in 8 years he went from doing the cinematography for this and then going on to Little Giants, directing that of all things, is really... It's a little bit of interesting history that I never thought I was expecting to see from this. But yeah, that's one of those things that's very interesting to think about when you look at this and Little Giants. Two very different movies, and yet, yeah, the same editor who did this also did Little Giants. I just thought that was kind of amusing overall. So, but yeah, Blue Velvet, it's David Lynch doing what David Lynch does so well. You're either going to love it, you're either going to hate it. And for someone like me, who likes some of the weird stuff sometimes, this was right up my alley. So, let's go ahead and move on to some more weird stuff here with our last movie that we have here, and that is Radioactive Dreams. Before I move on to Radioactive Dreams, I just also realized he also did Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey before that. I completely forgot he directed that movie in general. Still, two classic 90s kids films directed by the editor of David Lynch's Blue Velvet. Go figure.
That picks up where Absolute Beginners and Repo Man leave off. Starring George Kennedy, Officer and a Gentleman's Lisa Blount, Bachelor Party's Michael Dudikoff, and John Stockwell from My Science Project.
And the same guy dying 4 times in a row. That's the power of this movie here, directed by Albert Puyen, who would later go on to direct Kickboxer. He also did the Captain America movie in 1990. But this is not a canon movie, surprisingly. This is a film also done by the De Laurentiis company. It stars, it's about a nuclear war breaking out, expanding the world's entire nuclear arsenal except for one missile. 2 children, Philip Chandler, played by John Stockwell, and Marlo Hammer, played by Michael Dudikoff. Get it? Philip Marlowe, Raymond Chandler, Mike Hammer. They're all left out in a fallout shelter cut into the side of a wooden mountain. The pair grow up in the shelter with 1950s detective fiction and swing music as the guiding force in their learning. On April 1st, 2010, as noted by the title card, Marlowe succeeds in digging out the cave entrance. The pair give each other handcuffs, dressed in suits, and go to rejoin the world. So yeah, this is a really bizarre movie, but then again, that's kind of the thing you expect to see in a film like this, and it leads into a lot of interesting elements to it, and it's a rare it's one of those movies where you get to see what Albert Puyen can really do without him getting into some of the lackluster stuff we'll get to later on, like Kickboxer and Captain America and Cyborg. You know, when you look at this movie, you can definitely tell there are the elements that this is from the same guy that gave us The Sword and the Sorcerer, and later the Kathy Ireland? Yeah, Kathy Ireland movie, Alien from L.A. But yeah, it's definitely what you're thinking when you think of an Albert Puyen movie. It's a weird-looking film, visually pleasing to look at overall, with the cast that also includes George Kennedy, Lisa Blount, Don Murray, Michelle Little. It is what you think it is for a film like this. It's one of those movies that's not going to do well at the box office, first off, and will definitely find an audience through video because of how bizarre and insane it looks, and yeah, it definitely does that, and then some. Radioactive Dreams. That's all you pretty much got to say about that one. And speaking of Michael Dudikoff, he'll be in one of the 3 movies we'll look at next week on the show. That is Avenging Force, which is a canon movie. We also have the sequel to the R-rated comedy hit Hard Bodies 2. And then you'd think you would know a movie with Sissy Spacek and Anne Bancroft from Universal called Night Mother, but some of you probably don't even know what that movie is, and there's probably a good reason for that. But we'll touch on that and those 2 other films next week on the show. Time about the movies Flashback, so we'll take a look at them then. But in the meantime, if you did enjoy this, thank you so much for watching it, and please go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe button, notification button. Also, check out the last episode we did, check out our playlist, and with all that said, I will see you guys next week for another episode. So until then, thanks for watching, I'll see you next time. Take care.